It's Shannon.
Hello, and welcome to Keeping It Real with Shannon Live.
It's Shannon.
Crazy them because you don't know how it's going to turn out.
It's Shannon. It's Shannon.
My kids empowered me to get out.
What's going on with this remote learning and in the midst of COVID?
Working for different elected officials, learning and understanding how to put the community first.
Hi, and welcome to Keeping It Real with Shannon. Hello, ladies. How are you?
Hello.
Great. Well, as you know, this is Women's History Month, and we have a fantastic, dynamic woman on tonight who's going to is a candidate running for the Kings County Civil Court. So let's meet our special guest for tonight.
Hi, I'm Marva Brown, and I'm running for Kings County Civil Court Judge. I've been a practicing attorney for 16 years. In that time, I've developed the skills, knowledge of the law, and compassion that is desirable of the judiciary. My interest in the law was inspired by my grandmother. She was one of the first female wardens in the state of New York. She encouraged me to become a lawyer so that I could give people a fair opportunity at justice. I prepared myself for a career in the law by receiving my undergraduate degree from Columbia University. I then went to Cardozo, the law school of Yeshiva University. I've been a public defender for 16 years. I've represented a diverse community of clients through all stages of litigation. I've been in their homes, the homes of witnesses, and in local businesses. My experience with Brooklynites goes beyond the courts. I'm a member of Brooklyn Community Board 8, and I'm also the president of the local friends group from my neighborhood park. I serve in leadership roles in several community-based organizations. These experiences have made me familiar with judicial processes and procedures, but also the needs and priorities of the people. Judges of the civil court have an immense responsibility to the community to make the right decisions while being fair, unbiased, and respectful to all parties, while following the law. I'm confident that I'm the right choice for judge. Please vote Marva Brown for Kings County Civil Court Judge.
And now that you have met our special guest, let's welcome her to the show. Attorney Marva C. Brown. How are you?
Thank you. I'm great. Thanks so much for having me back, Lottie. I appreciate it so much. I love coming on your show, so I'm very happy to be here. Thanks.
Well, thank you so much for coming, because being that it's Women's History Month, this can't be a better time to have a woman on who's gonna kick you know what when she gets in office, because we already didn't put it out there. But we don't want to waste too much time because we don't have a lot of time and we got a lot to get to. But let's just start off with the question that everybody asks you, I know, is what makes you different from the other candidates?
Well, it's really interesting because I'm the only public defender, the only litigator that is running for Kings County Civil Court in 2023. I've been in court almost every day of my legal career, making applications on behalf of my clients, giving a voice to the voiceless, and really using the law to improve people's lives. And so my years as an advocate in court makes me very familiar with the legal system, the court system. I'm comfortable in the courtroom, and now I'm ready to preside from the bench. So that is something that really distinguishes me from the other candidates.
Absolutely. Well, you got my vote.
Thank you. That's one. Let's go.
All right. Well, sometimes we think about just political events that come up when people is running on the candidacy. But my thing is, I'm big on community. I'm big on communities. I like to know sometimes community don't have a voice, but how can you bring community to the table to have a voice?
Yeah, I think it's so important to, one, make the court system accessible to the public and to the community. It shouldn't be something that people are afraid of or scared to answer their summons and afraid to walk into those doors. And I think it's really about humanizing the system and understanding that we are all people. We all have issues and things that happen in our lives that can bring us to court. But if we use the law properly, if everyone's treated fairly and justly, they can have the opportunity at justice. And I think that's why I'm running because I know that I can be fair and listen to people and give them the chance to plead their case in court and really be understood and figure out what their needs are and how the court can use the law to meet their needs and make them whole again.
Oh, absolutely.
Marvin, let me ask you a question. What made you want to change from public advocate to now running for judgeship?
Like I said, I've been in court a lot, and
Right.
I've been in front of a lot of bad judges. And I say that Brooklyn needs some good judges, and I am definitely one that will be a good judge for the people of Brooklyn. I think it's a terrible position to be in as a litigant and as a lawyer, to walk into a courtroom and the judge already has their mind made up before you start speaking. And that's like one of my biggest pet peeves, where the judge just starts talking right away. And it's like, wait, can I say my part? You didn't even hear from me. You didn't hear
Can I
from
present my case?
Yeah.
Give me the opportunity to present my case.
Right.
And there are many judges that they have their minds made up from the beginning.
And I think, Marv, I think so. It's important too when you said that about how the judge acts, because even when you come before the judge, even if you have done something bad and you know you've been bad and you're not supposed to be doing it, but even say if the judge even say something to you, or even like, say to you about, okay, we know you did this, blah, 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 but you can change your life, you can do this and stuff. I think that's helpful also coming from a judge. To respond to you in that way. We know we did the bad thing, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes just the encouragement to say, you can change your life, and I don't want to see you here in front of my face again in court. I think that makes them, think, because sometimes when you would get outside and say, that judge was nice to me,
Right. We all need compassion. We all need empathy. We all need respect, right? And I meet my clients on the worst day of their lives. Oftentimes, being a public defender, my clients are upset, they're angry, they're hostile. But when you can treat them with compassion and understanding and really give them the opportunity to express themselves, then their whole demeanor changes. And it's like, okay, what can we do to resolve this issue?
Right.
And sometimes that includes people being incarcerated. And one of my favorite stories is a judge who, he's very kind. He had given my client chance after chance after chance to complete the program, and the kid was getting kicked out of program. I found him a new program. He got kicked out of the next one. And so finally he's like, okay, you've exhausted all of your chances. I have to incarcerate you because this case can't continue in this way. You need to know, like, this is a serious situation. And I literally said to the judge, like, the compassion with which you sentenced this client makes me know that you could do a wonderful wedding ceremony. And I asked that judge to perform my husband and I's wedding, and he performed our wedding ceremony.
Nice.
So there's a level of humanity that can come from the bench that, can really just make a positive impact on someone's life, even if it's not the result. Obviously, no one wants to go to jail, but
right.
It's not the result
because
that
I
they
think
want.
that also comes just dealing with the police as well. When police, stop you, rather than talking so nasty to you and everything, if you would talk in a civilized way, I mean, maybe sometimes you could even de-escalate what the situation is by letting them know this is not the way you need to be out here, doing what you're doing or something like that. Because that's, to me, is also a part of whatever your career is that you would do.
And that's true, Lottie. I echo that. Being 20 years in law enforcement is really, your mouth can make or break a situation when you go out to any scene, and it makes a big difference how you approach the scene. And people sometimes already have their own perception of, once you don that uniform, what that's going to be, what the outcome is going to be like. Just the uniform in itself speaks volume to a lot of people, especially when they have a negative connotation with community and law enforcement.
Right.
That is really important as well.
Because I think a judge should have those types of qualities that, you can, show some decency, fairness, compassion, and if you have to tell them off, then you tell them off, but you tell them off in a nice way, but what I'm saying, not nasty, but firm.
Right. There's a difference between having control of the courtroom, taking control of a situation, especially again, when, especially in criminal court, things get very hostile. In family court, it's passion, families are being torn apart. Maybe people are losing their children. There's a difference between being firm and demanding order in your courtroom and being disrespectful, right?
Right.
So judicial temperament is what we're talking about and what we want from the judiciary. And I'll say, in my 16 years of practicing law, I have never had a complaint that Marva cursed someone out in court or anything like that. I'm not a disrespectful person in general, so it's not something that I would take.
Well, not that we didn't think about it in our head,
And being emotional too, right? Because there's a level of emotion that comes into these very stressful situations when people are in court. And sometimes clients would say, why aren't you more upset? Why aren't you more upset? And I was like, if your lawyer was crying with you, I would not be able to do my job. I don't want a lawyer that's crying in court. It doesn't mean I'm not feeling what you're going through. Right. I'm working hard for you. It's just, I still have to remain professional.
Exactly.
You're paid to be professional.
Yes.
Not to be emotional.
But sometimes people kind of underestimate emotional versus pain. When you're still there to represent your client, and sometimes you may know in your heart your client's really not getting a fair deal and things like that. And sometimes you have the lack of trust with community and the system, because the systems are designed, the systems are working how they're designed to work. So when you look through historical, when you see people not getting a fair trial, you see people now getting released after 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, people have been wrongly accused. People lose faith. So when you bring empathy and compassion to the table to represent your client, it makes a big difference. It makes a big difference how they're going to handle themselves if they get incarcerated, if they're going to handle themselves, if they get a second chance. So it makes a real big difference, because like I always say, everyone's is not equipped to don the uniform of law enforcement, and everybody's not equipped to sit in the trial room rather than for the prosecutor or defense. So it's something that you have to be able to do and live with the choices of representing your client as well.
Or representing the state of New York as a member of the judiciary.
As a whole.
Right.
Because we want people to have confidence in the court, so that they say, when I come to court, I know my rights are not going to be violated. This judge is going to make sure that, the prosecution is able to prove their case, that they're going to hold them to the standards of the law and make sure that the law is followed, not based on the emotions and biases and things like that. So
Absolutely. But
it's funny. Well, let me ask you one of the most important questions, Marva. I guess I have to wait till we come back to ask that question.
We'll be right back. Thank you.
Why is Marva the perfect candidate for justice?
Why Marva?
Why Marva?
People always ask, is she the right person? And I always say, why not?
And I think she knows the concerns that the communities have. She's raising 3 young children here. And I think she's empathetic and understanding.
She's fair, and she's going to do what's best for the needs of her constituents.
It's Shannon.
And we are back.
Yes, we are.
People couldn't see my potential, so I had to show them.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper.
Today, I'm the CEO of my own company.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
Why are we not rethinking this?
I am more.
I'm more
than who I am on paper.
Court. I'm Bree McCoy. As you can see, I'm too young to vote, but you can. Vote for Attorney Marva C. Brown, candidate for Kings County Civil Court. Your vote, your voice. Make it count on June 27, 2023.
Oh, thank you, Bree. That's so cute.
That's the next judge.
Yes, let's make it happen.
That's why you a role model to these young ladies out here today. Yes. Listen, before we went to break, I wanted to ask you this question. The integrity of a judge is the keystone of the judicial system. can you set aside your personal prejudices, personalities, and partisan political influences to hear your cases?
Yes, definitely. I am someone who has spent my entire career dealing with people from all different walks of life. And again, I have never been challenged in a way to say that I've ever been disrespectful, or even if I didn't understand, I didn't take the opportunity to learn about a person's situation and circumstances so that I can then be an advocate for them, even if it's not something that I'm necessarily familiar with. And so from the bench, I take a wealth of knowledge and relationships and histories that I've built over the years with me to say, I know the people of Brooklyn from every neighborhood, every economic circle, whether you're a Brownsville resident or a Park Slope resident, whether you are part of the LGBTQ plus community or you're part of Church Women United. I have been involved in many different communities in Brooklyn, and I can walk through them with confidence and love and joy and empathy and understanding. And that's exactly what I'll do from the bench.
Absolutely. Well, that's what's needed, because sometimes the community lose hope in terms of who's best to represent them. So when you have an open mindset, open playing field where everyone matters, everyone's situations matters, and that's what matters, and that's what Brooklyn needs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
women in leadership roles and stuff, because I just feel women, when they're in this type of leadership role, like judges and lawyers and other types of roles like that, they're more compassionate. I'm not saying that men don't know how to be compassionate or whatever, but it's something about with women, we have that motherly instinct that we know how to come across to people, even in the wrong time, or when they're doing something they don't have any business, any right doing. It's the way we can come across to talk to them in that way.
Yeah.
That's different.
Right. We are the peacemakers. We are the problem solvers. And I was actually out petitioning the other day, and a man, his wife opened the door, but she wasn't a citizen and able to sign because she's not a registered voter. However, she said, but my husband is, and I'm going to get him to sign for you. And he comes out and he says, why are there always so many women running? And she said, because the men mess everything up and the women have to fix it. But I said also, but it's also men get appointed to the bench, right? They're in the closed room circles. They have access to the meetings and the golf courses and things that women don't necessarily have, even though there's more women lawyers in the profession now than men, but we don't have access in the same way. So we have to come to the people. We have to hit the streets and really put ourselves out there to the community to elect us.
And I think also too, Marva, just to speak on that, I think we need a lot more women within, the legal system, especially politics as well, just to kind of give a well-rounded view to what is really honestly needed. I think having the system look the way it has looked for so many years hasn't necessarily served the greater diversity of the people that the laws affect. So I think it's wonderful that you are running and you have my vote.
Thank you. That's too, Lottie. I didn't hear you.
I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
By the end of the show, I'm gonna have all 3 votes.
No, well, you had my vote even before you even decided to run or whatever. But the thing about it is, not only my vote, Vanessa, Allison vote. We want everybody. To vote, because we would not have her on the show if we didn't think that this was the person that needs
for
to be
all of us,
our community, for everybody, not just so much us, but for everybody that lives in the Kings County community, that we need to see this type of representation.
Right. And sometimes it's so much like we think about ourselves and our individual circumstances and we say, oh, I wouldn't end up there, so it doesn't affect me. But you never know. Also, one, you never know. And two, But what about your citizens? What about your neighbors? What about the people that work in your school, in the stores, and that you have to interact with on a daily basis? Their struggles can impact your lives vicariously through them, right? So we have to be concerned with how the legal system treats everyone, because 6 degrees of separation is a real thing. Right?
Exactly. And not only that, just seeing, like, you from the community, right? So the young people who see you in the community, the young males and the young girls, because some of the girls are just as bad as the boys. I mean, sometimes I can't tell the difference. I don't understand what the problem is here. But I'm saying, even when the young people would see you and they would know that you were a judge, right? I think sometimes that would still affect them to say, look, I don't want to come across her in the in the courts, because they know you. They know you from the community. So I think when they see people like this, whether you want to be it or not, you still is like a role model. To young people.
I mean, I came across a young man just this weekend when we were petitioning, and he was like, "Your face looks familiar." And I said, "Oh, does it?" And I recognized him, but I'm not going to put his business out there for the people that were standing around. But, we had that moment of recognition. And, I'm in the community talking to people all the time. And so if anyone does come into my courtroom, I would not embarrass them or call them out. But I think that familiarity is what I'm talking about. We need to know our elected officials. We need to know our judges and feel like we have access. And, if it's people that know us from the community and care about us because they're in our same communities and walk the same streets with us, then we feel like we have a chance because they know us.
You're a real person.
Yeah, it makes
not some random person on a ballot.
That's very important.
And
I think that's very important.
And it makes you feel good, like even just to be able to talk to you as a judge, someone. Let me tell you, I'm still excited. We had when the young man in our Lions organization ran for the international president, because they had never had a black president in 104 years. So he's the first, right? So we gave a little party. So they asked me, could they do it in my backyard? So I agreed to do it. And Congressman Hakeem just came. I never cleaned my yard since then when he came, right?
He blessed it. That was
just the spirit of Hakeem remains forever.
Remains there. The grass blades, all of it.
Idea to talk to him, and he's just so personal and everything. He just stands there and talks to you about whatever you ask him to. I mean, it was just so wonderful to have that opportunity, because he didn't act like he was up there and we were down here or anything like that. He just,
that's important.
He was a regular person.
That's what I'm saying.
That
means a lot. And that means a lot.
It does.
Right.
It does.
And for him to be present in the community means something to you. It gives him the opportunity to get to know you and know what your issues are. Right.
Absolutely.
So when you hear certain things from the bench, it's like, oh, I'm familiar with that neighborhood. I know what happens there. I know what goes on there. So I can give a level of credibility and listen with an open mind to this person because I'm familiar. And sometimes, certain judges I've been in front of, I said, I have another story of a judge. I was just like, what is this that you're saying? What's coming out of your mouth when I'm making a bail application to show my client's ties to the community? And I said, he's volunteering at an after-school program at the Brownsville Community Center, teaching DJing to the kids in the after-school program. Isn't that a good thing? The judge said, Brownsville? What is he doing there? He needs to stay away from there.
Oh my goodness.
Not that it's his community that he's giving back to, teaching a skill to young people, giving them something that they can take with them their whole lives all around the world. Just negativity of Brownsville. That's what she heard. Right.
But you know what? Just that thought, just to piggyback off that. So what happens when you have residents, young men and women coming across that judge desk, and they already have the biases, and they're there to adjudicate that particular case.
Right.
It's a problem.
A big problem.
Well, see, that's why it's important for elected officials to come out to community meetings, come out to community events, come out to know who voted for you,
Right.
You need to know who voted for you. But once you get the vote, it's like
Yeah.
you don't
But I
see
also
or
think
hear
it's
or
important. I think it's important to speak to the people who vote for you so you can understand why they voted for you.
Yeah.
Why it was important for them to one go out and vote when we historically have some of the lowest turnout rates. Why did this person come out and
Right.
put
But we
your
think
name
about
on their ballot?
Yeah,
absolutely.
and right
Mhm.
now is petitioning season, right? So you see people out in the
Yes.
streets with the long green sheets of paper
Yes.
asking for signatures. And so please
Mhm.
sign when you see those people. But
Yes.
I think it's very important for me to be out there. Yes, we have a team that goes out, but you know, I'm representing myself. I'm advocating for myself and communicating with the voting public. And a lot of people, they're like, oh, I don't like judges. I don't want to be a part of politics. I don't trust politicians, all this. But then I am able to stop them and have a conversation with them and explain, you know, my history, my work experience, why I'm running. And I get those signatures because people, you know, they believe again and they're excited about what I can do for them, their friends, their family by being on the bench and just like giving them a chance to.
And
again,
many don't take that time. Many don't take the
Well, that's the time you put in. But look,
exactly.
We are not worried about it because I'm not worried about it. Because I know that people gonna get out there and vote and do what they supposed to do. And if they don't, I don't want to hear the complaints after that.
Big
Because
time.
when you don't vote, that's on you. Because that's what I say when people complain after the fact.
Right.
Nobody wants to hear your complaint. You
I
had the
don't.
opportunity to go vote. You didn't go vote. So yeah. So look at my flyer. What it said, go out and vote for Mama C. Brown on June 27, 2023. Your vote, your voice, make it count.
Thank you.
You don't go out and vote, that's your problem. Not ours.
Don't say nothing to us. We don't want to hear it.
We're not worried about it because we know we looking at the next judge in the Kings County Civil Court. So, Mama, look, we run out of time for this part of the show, but our after show is coming up. So, if you want to stay with us, you can stay with us for the after show, or you can always go to our Facebook, YouTube, Keeping It Real with Shannon, and you can always look at that show again. Remember to subscribe, follow us on the Facebook, and Marva, thank you.
I'm on Facebook, Marva for Judge 2023 is my Facebook. I'm on Instagram, Marva, the number 4 Judge. And my website is marvaforjudge.com. So please visit, learn more about me, support the campaign, volunteer for the campaign. You can do it all through my website or Instagram.
Okay, good to know.
So much.
Make sure you come out to all her events that she's going to be giving during her campaign. And let's spread the word because we're going to get her in and we're not worried about it. So, because we're not going before her in court. At least I'm not going. But that's might be going, but I'm not going, you know. So
Marva, just look at the leaf I end up in front of you, baby.
Oh, definitely Allison will be coming to your court. Don't worry about it.
I just want to say I'm always innocent.
Joining us. And thank you again, Marva, for coming on. And as always, we'll see you next time. Stay tuned for the
Today's show is sponsored by Abu's Bakery. If you have a sweet tooth, stop by Abu's Bakery for some delicious cakes and pies.
Do you like beautiful pictures for your home or your office? Then stop by Space Art Gallery. They have a large selection of pictures from around the world.
It's Shannon. It's Shannon. It's Shannon. It's Shannon. It's Shannon. Keeping it real. It's Shannon. It's Shannon. It's Shannon.
Hi, welcome to our after show. Thank you for sticking around, joining us. Our guest today is our candidate, Ms. Marva C. Brown, attorney who's running for Kings County Civil Court. Now, the first part of the show, Marva, we was talking about all the heavy duty stuff, you know, about the judge stuff and all that kind of stuff. But I also think it's important for people to know what kind of person are you? Like, what do you like? what are your hobbies? Because I think all of that makes up the full person, and it also help you make the decision that you make because of who you actually are. And sometimes people don't really know who the person is. Oh, there he is a heavy duty stuff.
Right.
But I always like to know, like, what do you like? Like, what are your favorite color? Do you eat ice cream? Do you eat cake?
I'm trying to stay campaign fit. So to answer that question, while I love a good slice of strawberry shortcake, I'm trying to stay away as best as I can. But you got to have a little bit. You can't
just a little bit.
deprive yourself. I am a wife. I'm a mother. I probably could spend more time relaxing and doing my hobbies, but I'm super busy with work, the campaign, the community service, the kids. But I like to be outside. I like to garden in our park. I like to ride bikes with my kids. I have a scooter that my husband bought me for my birthday a couple of years ago. So I race my kids on our scooters. In good weather, it's snowing today, but I love the beach. I like just being in Rockaway Beach, Reese Beach. Like me and my kids, we are beach bunnies. And if I can make it to a lovely tropical location like Panama, I was in Barbados in October, so
we'll take you back, baby. We'll take you back.
I told my kids we're doing a vacation after the campaign is done. We're gonna go somewhere.
Yes.
You gotta go. I mean, I won't be back since y'all having snow. I decided to stay another month. But
I would too, baby. I would too.
Yeah.
I'm actually returning next week. But I've been since December, but it's all good. But I feel your pain with it. When it's time to get that self-care, you want to get to the beach, get out and get some tropical weather, you just got to embrace it all.
Yeah.
Take it all in.
Yeah.
Let the sun burn you to a crisp.
I know Mama says she's going to Paris,
Oh, yes.
I forgot to tell you guys, my son, I took him one Saturday to the Empire State Building. And then when he got to school, he wrote, "My mom took me to the Eiffel Tower." And I was like, that ain't no Eiffel Tower. Now, that's another reason why I need to go to Paris so I can show him the real Eiffel Tower as opposed to the Empire State Building.
Because it's not the same. It's fun, baby. That's a good way to get a vacation. He's smart.
Right? I'm
I
trying
think
to
that's a subliminal thing. Yeah, he got that's a subliminal message he put out there. You know what he's doing.
And he used school to get it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes. Marva, let me ask you a question. As we're all mothers on here, but how do you do it? Outside of being superwoman, because that's what I say every mother is, but you have quite a bit on your plate that you do. How do you manage to have some sort of a work-life balance?
Well, I'll say it definitely takes a village. Fortunately, my mother-in-law lives right downstairs. So she is able to keep our children whenever I need. And sometimes she goes to plays or, concerts, but most times if I ask, she's available, and she's always been happy to take care of her grandchildren. Friends at school do pick up sometimes, bring the kids home, things like that, and I pick them up later. So the village, the community, I love that. I have that, and I appreciate that so much. And then my job is pretty flexible. My kids have been to court with me. They've been on investigations with me. They've been to clients' houses with me. Like, they know what their mother does. They see the work. They appreciate the work. And they've been at rallies and marches with me. So my kids, they are fully aware of the impact and the importance of my work because they see it live in effect. So if I'm not around for them,
they know
I'm doing something important.
They know. So go ahead.
Go ahead.
Which one of your children will be the most likely to follow in your footsteps?
Oh, none of them. Absolutely none of them. My daughter wants to be a singer.
Okay.
My boys want to be football players and police officers. So I don't know. I hope someone goes to law school, but I just don't see it.
Well, they'll know which route not to go. To be on the other side of the bench.
Definitely.
Right.
I can always say.
Yes.
But
I can bang the gavel, but I can't do nothing else.
This is important, though. What I do tell them, because I have two boys, and I say, Black boys, growing up in the city, you might get stopped by the police and everything else. And I always say, you don't say call my mom, you say call my lawyer, Marva Brown. I'm not your mother. If you get police
I'm your
contact,
lawyer.
I'm your lawyer, and that's what you tell them.
That's true.
I'm gonna teach my son the same thing. Call your lawyer, Marva Brown.
But that's it. That was important for me as well when my kids came to the States. Panama is a little bit different from the States and how the kids really interact with police. And it's in lieu of the big distresses out there, there's a big difference being a Black male in the city, especially when you have a lot of, police shootings and here and there. And the common description of any crime is a male Black dark clothing. So, which is like 90% of the community.
That's everybody. What do you mean?
Yes, and I made it very clear if they're stopped by police, what they need to do, A, B, C, D, and E, because PD couldn't tell me anything if anything happened to mine. So I've made them very, very aware.
Yeah. I'm gonna need that list of the A, B, C, D, and E. And Marva, I'm gonna need your number so I could teach my son it.
Let him memorize it. And free
Memorize
advice,
it.
memorize a phone number, because so many clients, I get to arraignments, the cops have their cell phone,
right?
All their numbers are in their phone. They can't remember anyone's number. I'm like, well, who am I going to call to bail you out?
Ghostbusters.
You need a phone number.
Exactly.
So remember at least one person's phone number so that we can get the resources together.
At least the person who's going to answer the phone.
Hello.
Some people are not. This person calling wants some money again.
I'm not picking this up. I know what he wants. No.
Exactly.
No, thank you.
I was gonna say before, Marvin, when you was talking about when you take your kids with you sometimes, so they know exactly like what you do. Because I was gonna comment on that and say I think that's so important, because I remember when my daughter was young, I used to have her when she would leave school to come there rather than letting her go home, because I didn't want her home by herself, right? And so I put her to work. I was working at Mega Evers College, so I put her to work, working with the parents, with the workshops and stuff like that. So then when she was older to start putting her little resume and stuff together, she could put that down of the work.
She had job experience already.
That's right.
So she could show that she had experience. So when, she started looking for a job and stuff like that, she had some stuff down there that she could put. So this is what I would try to tell her and explain to her when she was like, I don't want to come to this. No. But see, because it pays off. Because
they don't see that, Lottie. They don't see it.
She didn't see it when she was getting her first job. They offered her money, and it was a pretty good salary for someone that had never had a real job just coming out of college. They had offered her in the high 40s, right? I said, no, go back and tell them that ain't enough money. So she said, well, if I go back and tell them that, then they might not want to hire me or give me any money. I said, you don't have anything to lose. You go back and negotiate that salary for a higher salary. And
so that's empowerment.
They gave her more money. She could, they did give. I said,
of course they did.
Until you asked them.
Of course they did.
Right.
You ask them
don't get fed.
Right. You never accept what they give you.
Right.
Always say, I want more.
I want more.
Exactly.
And that reminds me, I just learned yesterday that there's some judges, I think it was Judge Robin Shears, she runs summer youth for the courts. So there are kids that if they want to get involved in the court system in high school, age 16 to 24, she coordinates the summer youth program through the court system. So
that's good to know.
They're expanding the services for the kids to make sure they're, 1, out of trouble, 2, making money, and 3, learning skills, right? So it's a really great program, and you can get into the court system.
And see, that would be good also, because it's like you said earlier, Vanessa was saying earlier about this would all be in a sentence to say, you know what? I think I might want to go for a lawyer. I think I might want to go for a judge. You know what I'm saying? Because this starts putting things in our young people's mind, start thinking about, maybe this is a career that I might want to go into.
Yeah. When I was in high school, I did criminal justice career exploration. So literally, I've wanted to be a judge since I was 5, but my first coursework was in high school. And I interned with an Albany County judge. I interned at the Department of Children and Family Services, where we were helping kids who were in juvenile detention centers. And I was creating a curriculum for young women on how to proper hygiene. When they're in, they don't have mothers to tell them yo, you need to take a shower,
You need to
you
wash
have
yourself.
hormones and body odors and things. So like we
Yes.
really wrote a guide for the young women who were in those facilities. And so that just like opened my mind and exposure to court, and I got to see trials and everything like that. So if you get to those young people when they're young, it's amazing what sticks with them and what they take with them in the future.
And I don't know I don't know what's in the air. I just don't understand what's in the air. What is going on? Because even with the shooting today, 3 of them, like back to back with these young people. Like I just don't get it. Like, what are we not doing while they're young to get their minds on something that's positive, rather than want to be running with these gangs or whatever they're in, or you don't know how to talk to your friend without pulling out a gun, shooting them, that you can't talk it out or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's really conversations that need to be had with the young people, because I'm on community board and it's always a bunch of like 40 and up people talking about the kids, but we're not talking to them to see what their needs are. Why are they engaging in these activities, right? Like we need to have those conversations so that we can steer them in the right direction, and also like just cut it off in a way, so I think more communication has to be had.
Well, everybody needs to come to the table, like you said. The young people, anytime they have any kind of forum or anything, they always should make sure that young people are at that table talking about their concerns and what's bothering them, and because a lot of times I guess we just don't know what's going on with them, but because a lot of times the parents are not really talking to the kids, and that's why I tell parents all the time, it's important that you talk to your kids. You have to talk to them. Find out what's going on. Find out if someone. I tell my granddaughter all the time, is anybody bothering you in school?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have to come up there.
And sometimes you just have to ask the question, right? Because they might think that you don't care. They think they can handle it on their own, or whatever reason, they're not going to broach the subject themselves. But if you ask, they'll open up to you. And I think that's so important.
Absolutely.
Well, look, Marva, thank you. And good luck on the rest of the campaign.
Yes.
And is there anything that we can do along the way of the campaign besides keep spreading the word?
Spread the word, definitely.
Like everybody
That's
I'm
so
seeing, I got my little flyer on my phone here. Look at this flyer. This is who's running.
Let me send it to you.
Vote for Marva C. Brown. Your vote, your voice. Make it count.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much. And look, God is in the picture. We're not worried about it. We didn't put it out.
Yeah.
To God's ears. Thank you so much.
Yep.
To God be the glory. So we wish you
Judge Brown.
continue yes.
And don't forget about the general election in November, right? June is the Democratic primary, but we definitely will still be on the ballot for November.
Yeah, all right. We'll just keep spreading the word out there. But I mean, if there's anything going on that you need, our help with, please don't hesitate.
I'm on the website.
To ask. Yeah. And the donation, Barbara, the donation, I know you had the event up in Albany, but for donations and stuff, then people, we had it listed.
You don't have to wait for an event. People can donate at any time. We take the money anytime. We need the money all the time.
Bring the money.
Okay, so Barbara, tell us right quick where we would send the check. Where would we send the check?
I have a committee, Friends of Marva Brown. The address is 261 Madison Avenue,
in New York,
26th floor. That's New York, 10016. See, I remember the information.
Okay, yes. You heard it.
You said Madison. I was like, oh, she in Brooklyn. Let me walk over there.
Nah.
It's not Brooklyn, but it's okay.
Or is there anywhere in Brooklyn that we could, people wanted to give?
You could sit in your home and give money through Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. The website takes donations. Yeah, it's all there. MarvaForJudge.com.
Okay, great.
To donate very easily.
Okay, good. Okay, then.
Send the money.
Thank you again, and we'll get our donations in. We'll send our donations in to wherever it is, and we wish you the best of luck. And
absolutely.
We pray for your safety while you are out there.
Yes.
You know, and we know you're going to make a great judge.
Thank
I mean,
you.
even if I do have to come before you, you know, just have a little pity on me. You know what I'm saying?
Throw the book at Lottie.
She's pleading her case already.
Yeah, already.
You notice that it went from I'll never be in front of you to just in case.
You know.
Throw the book at her.
Allison, never say never.
You're right.
Because you know you're
right.
always into something.
Me?
Thank you, Marva. Thank you so much. Thank you,
you.
ladies.
Thank
And
you.
it's
Thank
always
you.
been an
It's a
exciting
pleasure.
time, and we'll see you next time. Take care.